peoples, and welcome to the 9th session of Abandon Hope. When we last left our heroes, they had abandoned hope. Vesper was in a chimney. Everyone else, yes, with a leg. Most other people were neither in a chimney nor had a leg. I suppose most people had at least one leg, I guess. Slash is, well, Aiden is not with us again today, which means bad things may happen to Slash. It is tradition by this point. It'll be interesting. The rest of the characters were huddled around the old hearth through which Vesper had crawled. Vesper found an exit point on an additional floor higher up, but kind of just crawled past that and eventually crawled up until she emerged out the side of the mountain in which Hope is built, and there was like an old campsite there, and that's where we ended. And apparently everyone else just kind of sat twiddling their thumbs for literal hours while Vesper vanished forever, but actually didn't. I'm pretty sure it was. Maybe I'm misremembering. It was a good long while, one way or another. So, what do you all do? Are we... Vesper, did you come back down? Will you come back down? Or will you flee now that you're free? Alright. And the rest of you, Vesper does not reappear for, at least 45 minutes. What do you do? I think if she was dead, she'd have fallen, like, all the way back down. It's true. There could have been snakes that pulled you out and ate you or something. I suppose you wouldn't have fallen down then. The genie pigs, yes. Well, they call up to you, Vesper, at about the 45-minute mark. What do you do? A bird flies by. That's pretty weird. Birds don't really fly by around these parts. Well, you see the remnants of a camp, an old fire, a stick that might have been part of a tent, a rock convenient for sitting on, brown grass. That's important for a campsite. It's the side of a mountain. It's a little breezy. As breezy as it gets in these breezeless lands, I guess. I can't remember if breeze exists in this land. You see no living things aside from the bird. It's a little fat bird with one eye. It's like a cyclops bird. It lands on the rock. Has a drill-like beak. Mr. DM, apparently only you may be... Dang it, 1 second. I don't think I gave you guys a map list. Yes, I gave you a map. Okay, no desktop audio capture, and I've got... Gotcha. Alright, I'm gonna throw down OBS real quick. It's probably gonna disrupt the stream.
It's okay.
Well, the desktop audio is coming through again.
Woo!
I blame Slash.
It is
Yeah,
probably
his
Slash.
fault. We should punish him. I remove a finger.
Which finger?
Whichever one displeases me the most.
Alright, 1 second.
If I had him up here,
His right pinky finger displeases you the most.
It does. It really does.
He does not understand why it is necessary for you to remove a finger, but he'll consider it in the future.
We might need it later.
And I think it would be most useful to remain it on my hand, he says. I think I need it now.
You've got 9 other ones. There's never a situation where you need 10 of something.
Did you know the pinky finger supports the greatest amount of weight when you're gripping an axe?
Varm, how many coppers do you need to make a silver?
I don't know anything about money.
We have money, though.
It doesn't mean I know anything about it.
I was hoping you would just say 9, but that works too.
The secret to this entire universe is that it operates in base 9. You guys have discovered my secret plot. There's no point in continuing.
We should all remove a finger so we can understand better.
We won D&D.
Awesome. Game's over.
The bird flies towards you, Vesper. And I mean, there's like 4 feet between you, so it flies and lands on your head. It makes a sound.
very good.
It is going to try to drill into your skull to retrieve the tasty worms within.
Oh.
Oh, that's not good.
Does a 16 hit?
Quite a bit, yes.
Please take 5 piercing damage to the top of your head.
You have a very soft and mushy head.
It's a good thing Vesper didn't fall down that shaft after all. What do you do in response to this?
I'm just gonna try and hit it away with my hand.
Can you make me an unarmed attack roll, please? Unless you'd like to try to just, like, intimidate it away with a get away from me, you little crap. Or something similar.
It's more so kind of just trying to slap it off.
I forgot, are we supposed to be catching birds or just observing birds?
It was specifically, Ivor was asked to, I think it was get pictures of birds, maybe, I don't remember. Maybe even just look out for birds. Just bring news of their existence.
That works too.
An unarmed attack is just a straight strength roll, right?
Yes. Is everybody proficient in unarmed attacks?
I think just monks.
Okay.
So I think it says specifically on their sheet that they're proficient. So
Gotcha. So
that
straight
would
strength.
imply that, yeah.
Are my rolls showing up?
Oh, is it supposed to be in Discord? I don't know. You're
No,
definitely not
no,
showing up
Roll20.
on Roll20 at all. You're not even showing up as on the page. I'll roll
Alright,
for you.
so
What's
I'll
your
take-
strength?
I rolled a 16 and 10.
Okay, yeah, just pull you stuffs. Your 16 will hit. You smack the bird. It squawks and flies away.
Rude.
Your blood drips from the tip of your nose.
Does it fall
Hey,
down
now
the
I have a
chimney?
hole.
It does fall down the chimney, somehow not touching the walls. It's just a straight shot right down. A bit of blood plorps on the ashes before you.
Are you okay up there?
Yeah, I just got stabbed by a bird. It's fine.
The voices take a bit of time to waft up the tremendous distance. The general meaning is vaguely conveyed. Individual words might get lost or distorted. You sound like ghosts to each other, which you more or less kind of are, I suppose, so that's appropriate.
Maybe you should come down.
Yeah, maybe.
Correction as well, I just looked it up. You are proficient with unarmed strikes.
Okay.
Not bad.
Alright, there doesn't really seem to be anything else to see here, so I'm gonna start heading back down.
Alright. Can you please give me an acrobatics roll?
Oh, very good. Yeah, 16.5.
Alright, you make your way down despite the irritating blood, which isn't really blood, continually dripping and making an irritating clockwork-like sound as you descend. When you come to the bottom, you are standing in some blood mud.
Gross.
It's fine.
Slash has decided to pass the time by working out. He is lifting a stone table above his head, holding it there, and then putting it back down.
See, you don't need a pinky.
Vesper is bleeding from the top of her head.
Hmm. Do you put a tourniquet around the neck? I think that's how you stop that.
I think you make a top knot.
Hmm.
Are you alright, Vesper?
I'm good, I'm just bleeding.
Well, I'm not wasting a spell on a minor head wound.
Well, bleeding is a sign that you are still. Well, I guess you're not still alive. Never mind.
You're not dead.
Do you share with them the details of what you have seen, Vesper?
Yes, I will.
Not only of the camp, but of the other thing that you also saw.
Yeah, and I'll try to describe the bird in as much detail as I can.
It sounds nasty. Had tiny little feathers. A little mohawk.
As Vesper is describing it, Igor will just start kind of sketching it out, just by description, and see if he can kind of get an idea of it to paint later.
Do you tell us about the second floor that you came across?
Yeah, there was a second floor, but I didn't go on it. I just headed right up.
That seems like something that would have been worth
Did I
looking at.
see anything in there as I was heading back down?
Not especially. It was a
Alright.
room somewhat like this one. Considerably less broken and blasted apart. It didn't look like some swarthy dudes had a fist fight in it, like this one does.
Did it open on the same side or the opposite side?
The same side.
So this chimney was really long,
Oh, yes.
so it's not as if that room is directly above us.
It was a little hard to judge. It was vaguely directly above you.
Well, I mean, it's directly above us, but not It's not like right there. There's got to be a
No,
lot
it
of
was
space
a
for that one
good
to climb.
15-20 minute climb before the second floor appeared.
So it's not just floor ceiling.
Right, you're not going to stand on Slash's shoulders and chip away at the ceiling until you can jump up through the floor.
There'd be a lot of chipping.
Just in case that's what you were planning.
Well, there's already a chimney.
Yes. Slash looks mournfully at the chimney, which is narrower than his shoulders. To be fair, most doorways are narrower than Slash's shoulders.
He could scrunch up.
Do you have that much oil? I can't remember. I seem to remember you guys having brought a lot of oil with you.
Yes.
I thought we burned that.
Ivor still has 2 vials of acid and 3 flasks of oil, rather.
Yeah, a combination of the oil and the acid, that'll work.
I also have 10 oil, so
Was
we
there any
really
place?
need oil.
Was there any place left on this floor that we hadn't explored? What happened to the map?
Let me see if I left the map 1 second.
Oh,
By the power of copy and paste, you have a map.
that's pretty good.
Not even slightly to scale. But you guys are in the rightmost room. There was the giant big staircase in the middle.
We
And
hadn't gone through the doorway
that is
in the top
correct.
center, correct?
There
It
was
was locked?
there were handles of 2 different metals. I seem to remember nobody wanting to touch them. There's like an iron one on one side and a gold one on the other, I believe.
Well, if we're not all going up the chimney, we should probably head back there.
Slash immediately drops the table and heads in that direction.
Wendellorn, are you doing anything, or are you just kind of standing creepily in the corner?
I believe once I was done rummaging about, I was just standing creepily in the corner.
Sounds right.
It's what he do.
Trudge.
Ivor had investigated a few rooms and not found anything of interest due to some rolls. And so he's just kind of been chilling as well.
Yes.
I am under the stairs.
Being under the stairs is a very dangerous place to be.
So it's been a bit. Remind me what we were actually looking for down here.
So the witch sent you down the same passage that old Sam and JL apparently went down when they stole the living soul. She says that what she told them is that you need the eye of a vampire lord to see the ministers of death, and that will give you the secret to returning to the living world. And she said she ain't helping no one after this. She's getting tired of people coming back and forth asking her to open and close the doors and this and that. So after this, everybody's on their own.
And when we went down the staircase that led to this area, there was no evidence that people had gone down there before us, as I recall.
That is correct.
I believe there was evidence that nobody had gone down that way.
There was, in fact, a guy with some heads attached to his tailbone completely blocking the entrance. Sorry. I could have just not held down the talk button when I was yawning. See you guys see you guys see a staircase. It's a big old staircase. There are pillars on either side of the door at the top of the staircase, on account of you being on a landing sort of thing. There's a big old stone door, a double door. On each of these, of the double doors, there is a metal handle. Each one is covered in intricate ridges. The leftmost is made of iron. The rightmost is made of gold.
I encourage Slash to go up to the doors.
Can you make a persuasion roll? Is that the skill I'm thinking of?
Has that ever been necessary?
Well, he's a little hesitant at this point, on account of you already
Slash,
took one of
lay
his
on
pinkies.
the blood altar. Okay.
Well, you
I
didn't.
think he
help.
actually volunteered himself.
He did volunteer himself, but this time you're just being arbitrary. You cut off his pinky despite there being no cause to, and you doing nothing with it. So he's not.
He is the strongest person in the party, so if somebody can pull the door open, it's probably going to be him.
I'm afraid, Slash, that we're all too weak to open this vast and heavy door.
Well, that
Clearly,
goes without saying. But
you're the man for the job.
I don't know, all this blood soaking my hand. I think it's going to make it too slippery for me to open the door. I'm getting the growing feeling that you don't really have my best interest in mind.
We don't pay you to think, Slash.
You know very well you don't pay me at all.
Least of all to think. We don't not pay you to think.
That's entirely fair, he says, and grabs onto the gold doorknob with his mutilated hand.
Why didn't he just use his other hand?
He's got an X in that one.
Oh, okay.
Oh, what is his strength? He's only got 15 strength. Interesting.
My strength is higher than that.
He gives the door a mighty heave, and there's a creak around its hinges that are not visible. You assume they're hinges. The door does not open. I guess I'm not strong enough, he says. He turns to walk down the stairs and falls over as his hand doesn't come away from the doorknob.
Oh.
You glued my hand to the door. I know you didn't
You're
have my
supposed
best
to let
interest
go
in
of
mind.
it.
He looks at the doorknob for a split second when you tell him that. He looks like he may be considering whether he forgot to let go of it. He actively tries to let go of it and cannot.
See, this is why you need a pinky on your hand. Otherwise, this just does not work.
Yeah, what he said. Maybe if I cut off my other pinky, it will rebalance my hands, and then I can let go.
You're just unbalanced. That's definitely the problem.
Can I get up a little closer and like inspect where his hand meets the doorknob and like see if it's adhesive or if I can tell if it's some kind of magic or.
Please give me investigation. It does not seem that there is any visible glue-like stuff on the knob. And for good measure, you peer at the other knob also. You see no, barb mechanism. You see no glue. You see no...
I touch the handle with his pinky. Does it also stick?
It does not.
You
think that it is more likely than not magic, Ivor, unless it's some kind of paralyzing agent that, I don't know, got stuck on him in a way you can't see.
What's the door made out of?
The door is made of stone.
Well, Slash, you could heave at it with your axe and try to chip yourself free. Might take a while.
That's a good idea, he says.
Okay, get started.
And he's going to start wailing at the door with his axe.
Can I investigate the pillars?
Yes, Slash misses.
He misses the door.
Well, he hits it and does no damage.
Well, I mean, it
Basically.
isn't in his left hand, so.
So these pillars, they appear to have gargoyles etched into their surfaces. It's not even proper carving. It's a very light outline of gargoyles with tremendous wings and tails of far greater proportions than you had seen below. They seem to be all holding these elegant halberds with ribbons draping from the head of their weapons. They are all carved so that they seem to be looking toward the door in between all of them.
They all seem to be looking where? I'm trying to get a picture of this.
They all seem to be looking toward the door that Slash is currently smacking.
Okay.
So their backs are turned toward the stairs?
Yes.
And you said each one was made of a different material?
The pillars are simply the same stone that all of the rest of the stuff has been made of. The same stone as the mountain that all this seems to have been carved from.
Gotcha.
Each of the pillars has one gargoyle carved, sort of winding around it, almost serpentine, but gargoyle-tine.
Gotcha.
Kind of like they're hiding behind the pillars and looking at the door.
Are they identical or more or less identical, or are they different from each other in some significant way?
They seem identical to each other.
If I touch one of the pillars, does anything appear to happen? Just the one nearest me, I guess.
Nothing happens.
Can I see if the pillar will turn if I twist it?
Sure, can you give me a straight strength roll, please?
Very good at these. Come on, roll it. There it is.
It does not move at all. Slash seems sympathetic. He's gonna try to hit the door again. He smacks it good. A tiny chip appears in its surface.
Cool, he'll be through in no time.
His axe rings in his hand and he winces as the vibration goes through his arm.
Wendellorn, would you like to come have a look at this?
Perhaps we could burn the door down, he says.
It's made of stone.
I've heard that stone can melt if you get it hot enough.
So Slash just has a hold of one of the handles?
He does. He has a hold of the gold one in his right hand. In his left hand, he has a little axe.
Oh, well, since Wendellorn has been asked to come look at this, Wendellorn is going to walk up and grab the other handle and give it a good yank.
The handle repulses you when you try to grab it, physically, not emotionally. At first, you think it's just very slippery, but you realize you cannot get your skin within about a millimeter of the actual surface of the metal.
Slash, why don't you try grabbing that handle?
He looks at it, says, I don't think that would be the greatest idea.
Why?
Well, I've already grabbed one. Maybe something bad would happen if I grab the other. He did see you just do the thing. Apparently...
But it let you grab the one. It won't let me grab the other one.
No. He looks at his axe. I'd have to put down my axe, wouldn't I? He
Unless you want to hold it in your teeth.
likes that idea. He puts the axe haft between his teeth. And then he's going to try to grab onto the iron door handle. There's a sudden cracking boom as he goes flying backward. His hand was on the gold. Well, it's still on the gold doorknob, but it's not connected to his arm anymore. The smell of burned slash fills the air as he goes flying the entire length of the chamber and smashes against the stone wall near the coat rack at the bottom of the stairs.
Did Slash just try to jumpstart the door?
That was unfortunate.
The door is...
You just watched him whiz past you and land down the stairs. You're like, that was unfortunate.
Slash is dead. The door is now open a crack.
We killed Slash that quickly?
No, the door killed Slash.
Well,
the door is opened outwards or inward?
It's opened outwards.
Can I push on Slash's body to open the door farther?
Well,
Slash
his...
be downstairs.
Yeah, he flew all the way down the stairs.
Oh,
It landed by
okay.
the coat rack.
Can I try to push the doors open without touching the handles now that it's a crack open?
Yeah, so you can stick your toe in and kind of pull it inward toward you. Sorry.
Is his hand still attached to the handle?
Yes, it is.
Oh,
His left hand is not attached to the iron. His right hand is still attached to the gold. The hand seems to have not been harmed at all, aside from being no longer connected to its wrist.
Well, Baron, you've removed all of his right-hand fingers now, as it is a count of 5.
well, he won't bitch about the pinky anymore.
Not for a little bit. I misspoke regarding the door. It opens inward toward you guys.
Ah, okay. Yeah, so I could like wedge something in there and see if I can.
Yes, you take a pry bar or something, you stick it in the crack, and you gently nudge it. Are you going to try to like hide around the door as you do so, or are you just kind of trying to open it without touching it?
I'm prioritizing not touching it.
All right. You open the door and you see a continuation of the staircase rising upward.
And as a matter of just double checking, is Slash outright dead or just down?
And he is reduced to death and will return to life at some point.
Okay. Just double checking. So
You assume.
healing magic won't do anything for that at the moment. That's fine.
Correct.
Okay.
Poor Slash.
So do we just prop him in a corner someplace?
Well, is a corner necessary? He looks happy where he is.
He's not bleeding, at least.
Then-
Okay.
Well, his heart's not beating, so...
He
Can I
died.
attempt to, now that the door's open, can I attempt to like wiggle his hand off the handle, or is it just still stuck on there?
It crumbles to ash as you touch it.
Oh.
Flesh-colored
That's-
ash, but ash nonetheless.
Gross.
If we poke Slash with a stick, will he do the same?
No, he remains mostly whole.
Okay. Well, I believe the bit that was cut off of Vesper came back, so he'll be
Yes.
fine.
It'll get better. All right, what's through the door?
The smell of rotten fish and a dark looming staircase that is a continuation of the staircase you guys had to walk up to get to this balcony and set of doors. Unlit, dark and dank spider webs.
I'm going to cast light on my sword again and head up the staircase.
Right behind.
All right.
Vesper, are you coming?
Yeah, I'll come along.
You walk up for a long while until you come to another set of double doors. This one has iron knocker rings, one on each of the door. I still can't remember what I determined to call those from last session. Door knockers.
They're just knockers.
Just knockers. Okay. I feel like they have a different name. I don't know why. Well, there's an iron knocker on each of the doors. They look nothing like the knobs that were on the double doors down below. And one of them's not made of gold.
So they're both iron?
Yes.
Gwendolyn, try to grab these.
Gwendolyn's going to go up and grab the door handles and pull the doors open, or push them open.
Do you grab both at once?
Why not?
Nothing happens.
Okay, I was going to say, can I prepare to catch him if he gets thrown? But okay, that's fine too.
I mean, they're knockers. You could try using them to knock.
You could. They do open easily toward you, though, so there's not much in need. Inside is a sort of a living room looking place, I guess. A sitting room. There are bits of stone furniture. Nothing much of interest. There's like a little side table. There's an empty bookcase. There's a lounging couch. Looks like it's made of stone. Doesn't look terribly comfortable. There is what looks like a gargoyle in a suit of plate mail against one of the walls. The plate mail is metal. The gargoyle is stone. The gargoyle is holding a halberd with what looks like stone-carved ribbons wafting in a non-existent breeze. Like unmoving, carved dynamically by some guy who was good at carving, I guess. Just kind of standing there. Let me do a sketch or something.
Does it look similar to the gargoyles we saw etched on the pillars?
It does look pretty similar. Those ones had no armor, though. The head shape and the shape of the weapon are similar, though.
And this is not part of a pillar?
Correct. That's the double doors that you guys came down. Those are furnitures, I guess. That's what passes for a gargoyle and or a tank. Then there are two smaller doors, one near-ish the middle of the back, and one in the corner of that same wall.
What are they made of?
They are made of wood.
With normal handles on these?
They do appear to have so. Well, they have knockers.
So all these doors have knockers and no handles.
That is correct. Or they may just be handles on account of you can use them as handles.
This is true.
Although you can use them as knockers. So I wonder if they're knocker handles, or if they're handle knockers.
This is a question to ponder.
Slash would be all over it if he was alive.
Would he, though?
Poor Slash. Already miss him.
He died doing what he loved. Opening doors.
Sacrificing himself for the greater good.
Exploding.
Not often you get a chance to do all three at once.
Exactly.
So the armor on the gargoyle, is it roughly human sized?
That's a good question. Gargoyle is about 12 feet tall. It has a very thin, spiny waist and limbs with weirdly broad shoulders. So no. The armor fits it
So this
fairly
is
well.
not just human armor. This is armor specifically made for gargoyle.
Correct. Somebody didn't just decide to use a gargoyle as a quirky armor rack. Unless they were also the size of a gargoyle.
Ew. There's a naked gargoyle-sized man somewhere here.
The final boss reveals itself.
I don't know if I'd personally wear armor with nothing else under it, though. That sounds like a bad time.
I feel like
Gargoyle
paladins
doesn't
do
seem
that.
mind.
It sounds really pinchy.
Well, what do you guys do?
I don't know. I'm waiting for somebody to
So-
run in there and start touching stuff.
We already
Reveal what's
used-
deadly.
We already used the, like, intelligent stone on a gargoyle already, right? Or did we take it back?
I don't think you guys
We
ever
didn't
actually
use
used it.
Didn't we fit it into one and it showed us the way or something earlier? And then I don't remember if we took it back or not.
I think
No.
there was a lot of debate as to what it should be used for, and then nothing came of it.
Well, we have that then.
Yes.
Do you want to awaken a gargoyle knight?
If we're going to awaken any gargoyles, this one seems very well armed.
That's true.
Would be useful.
Maybe we should see what's beyond those doors first.
This is also a plan.
So Wendelorn's going to walk over and attempt to open the next set of doors.
Alright, the one near the middle or the one on the far right corner? I didn't draw very well. The one on the left is the middle, the one on the right is the right.
Naturally.
Worm, which doors were you referring to?
Do either of them look more like the main door?
The one in the middle, I mean, being in the middle, that makes it somewhat mainish. It's also a little bigger.
and-
Yeah.
Okay. Try the smaller one first.
Okay, then I will try the smaller one first.
The smaller one sticks a little. You give it a good old yank and a shove, and it opens. And it opens upon another sitting room, like the one that was down below, but this one's not destroyed. There's a little hearth.
Is there an accompanying fireplace and chimney?
Yes, take my word for it that that thing is it.
Okay.
There's a little stool. This one's made of wood.
So I'm guessing this is what Vesper saw as Vesper went by down the chimney.
There is what looks like fresh ash, kind of scattered around the hearth that you
The staircase went up
educatedly
and-
guess may have been from Vesper's passing.
Did the staircase that we went up turn back around so that this could be above where we were?
I mean, it's dark.
Like it would have had to go up and wind around. Like
Yeah, I
how-
forgot that geometry existed, so I'm gonna retcon it and say yes.
Okay.
It was a spiral staircase.
All right. It spiraled so much we had just lost track of what direction we were going.
Space moves strangely in Lordran.
Sounds legit.
I'll open this other door, the middle one.
Alright. You open it, and you see a big old bedroom.
Yeah, George, it would not have occurred to me that this was the same room at all.
That's because you assume this is a Euclidean space.
My bad.
So in this room, there's like a big 4-poster bed. There are petrified skeletons heaped in piles everywhere.
Oh. Human skeletons?
Mostly.
Humanoid skeletons?
Humanoid skeletons, there we go. Just literal piles, like good 4 feet high. They look like they were placed there after they became skeletons, and like they weren't doing anything at the time important. Like, I'm not trying to insinuate another skeleton orgy like in the last campaign. And
What?
in this,
What?
yeah, I don't remember. It was like you guys were investigating some town, and there was like a hotel, and there were a bunch of guys in a pile. And someone said, "Oh, clearly this was an orgy," and I was like, "That wasn't what I intended," but I
Are you
can't
sure
argue
you
with
didn't
it.
dream that?
I might have dreamt it. Well, in any case, there was no skeleton orgy here. Whatever may or may not have happened in the past.
Worm walks in and says, "There was not a skeleton orgy here."
Just have to tell us that before we get any ideas.
So in that big old 4-post bed, there is a giant coagulated lump of striated stone. Looks like a whole bunch of different boulders were melted together. And there's like half of a face exposed of what seems to be a quote-unquote living humanoid. Very blotchy skin and a empty eye socket encrusted with blood just kind of exposed toward you. I'm going to try to draw it. This isn't going to go well. 1 second.
What is in the other eye socket?
Well, that one's hidden in the massive stone.
Ah.
So that's a roughly bed-shaped block on which is a roughly rock-shaped rock.
It's a big rock.
I think it is the face of Bo.
Perhaps.
He's got a little nose. He's got a single strand of hair sitting there because my hand twitched. And that's all that's exposed. His nose and his eye socket.
So he's not skeletal?
No. He's fleshital. Very blotchy.
Like living type flesh or like mummified
Like
type
your
flesh?
guys' type flesh.
So okay.
Yes, he may be dead, but he doesn't probably seem to be dead. He's less dead, perhaps, than Slash currently is. He seemed more alive than the things that you fed Vesper to.
Is there room in the rest of the skull for his body to be in there? Or that's the stone, rather?
Yes, it's a big old rock. Many boulder things melted together, perhaps.
If only Slash was here, we could get him to slowly chip him out.
Well, Wendelorn is going to start rummaging around through the skeletons to see if there's anything interesting buried underneath them.
You find a lot of long hooked knives. Very rusty. You find 17 of them.
If only we had 17 orphans.
There are probably a lot of orphans down here. In fact, many of these skeletons were perhaps once orphans.
This is the remains of a vast orphan army.
You find nothing else of note among the skeletons. Aside from a lot of very long, sharp teeth in their skulls. I guess you find a couple of gold teeth.
In all of their skulls? They have fangs?
No, but a good many of them. Yeah, you find 6 gold teeth.
It's almost enough to make a necklace.
The nose of the figure starts twitching as you perform your disturbances of the dead. It begins twitching, and it twitches. I guess that sort of follows. But nothing more comes of it.
Hello.
The mouth is well hidden by the stone.
Does it react at all?
I mean, the nose twitches.
Does it have eyes?
It has one eye that was exposed to you, and that one eye is gouged out. The other eye is somewhere in the stone if it has more than one eye. Maybe it was like the bird.
You said we could get teeth from it, right? Or we
No,
got
that was
teeth from...
that was the skeletons.
Oh, sorry. Okay. So only its eye and its nose is exposed?
Correct.
Ooh, we should go get one of Slash's eyes. Stick it in there. See what happens.
I'm thinking, we were sent down here to get an eye, and so were the people before us. Perhaps this is the eyes that they took.
Maybe Slash is a
perhaps
vampire.
We need the other eye, but it is currently behind the rock.
I just really wanted to see what happens.
I think
Vesper,
you just
can
want
we
Slash
touch your
to feel pain. I don't know about this.
Slash does not wake up and follow you guys on account of being dead. He cannot defend himself.
How long did it take us to walk from there to here?
No, maybe 5 minutes.
Hmm.
Considerably faster than climbing.
So nobody's interested in seeing what happens.
Does the eye gouge look recent or very old?
The blood is well dried and crusted.
But not like eroded away or
No.
rotted away, just
Not at all.
crusted.
Yes.
So maybe like a matter of like weeks or months, not years.
Certainly not yours.
Okay, so it looks at least relatively recent. I'm starting to think this is the eye that was taken. And we need the other eye. I don't think we need to put a new eye in. I think we need to get other eye out.
Why would they not have taken both eyes?
Because the other one is hard to get to. And you only need one eye, apparently.
I was
That
just
is- that
assuming
is what
whoever
it
took
seems.
the eye was the same person who stuck him in the stone.
I mean, this is possible. Does the stone look super old, or does the stone also look more...
Well, the meltiness of the stone is incongruous with the fine craftsmanship that most of this stuff has been carved with. It reminds you of the weird way that the altar was kind of like melted into the ground of the previous floor. And the way the bunch of broken up gargoyles were kind of melded into a big pile, blocking entrance to the
So
crypt.
it's kind of hard lava looking.
Yes.
Well, do you have a chisel?
I have acid.
A very small ear has grown on the exposed forehead of
Just
the
now?
face.
It's just grown on.
Yes, it has in the past 30 seconds or so started to grow and is swiveled towards you like a plant seeking sunlight.
What? Creeps me
hello.
right the fuck out.
If you can hear us, wiggle once for yes or twice for... Well, I guess you won't be able to twice for no if you can't hear us. But wiggle once for yes if you can hear us.
It wiggles once.
Okay, so this thing is alive.
The
Hello,
nose has
how-
retracted as the ear has grown.
What? Oh my god. This is disgusting. Even for you.
So if we drive a blade up through that eye socket into its brain, we should be able to kill it.
Does that seem necessary?
Weaken once if you are a vampire lord, and twice if you are not.
It does not respond when Wendellorn speaks of murder. After a long pause, it wiggles twice.
So this is not the vampire lord we were sent to find. Interesting. Or that's exactly what a vampire lord would say if it was a vampire lord and was trying to hide it. Or how it would wiggle.
If anyone would like to join Worm in rolling insight, please do so.
Ivor is so good at this. Boom.
Dang.
Yeah,
Wendellorn has a moment of clarity.
Wendellorn feels pretty certain that pause was a little too long to be accurate. Worm is fairly suspicious. But, I mean, it's an ear. You can't lie to somebody with an ear. And, Ivor feels that a vampire lord probably wouldn't just sit there while somebody gouges its eye out.
Yes, this does make sense.
Press X to doubt. Well, I don't think there's any reason to kill it. It's not going anywhere.
The ear does not react to this.
I feel really weirded out at the idea of talking to it. Out of everything, this is what weirds Worm out.
Worm, the ear is very slowly starting to extend toward you.
Back up a little bit.
You are able to move far more quickly than the ear.
What is the movement speed of an ear?
Like a couple centimeters a minute, probably. Slower than a normal
very
ear.
Slowly.
Yes.
Does anything happen to the rest of its face as it extends its ear?
The blotches on the skin are moving toward the extruding flesh. That's about it. It's kind of like a snail elongating its body.
It seems like it could just blorb out of there if it wanted to.
Does seem like it, couldn't it? Doesn't it? Etc. Words, grammar. Parsing of tenses and things.
I too like to parse my tenses. Well, I get my sword out just in case it becomes necessary.
The ear is forming into an abominable mockery of a mouth.
I was going to say
my
this is
God.
already abominable, but this is
Are
even
there
more
teeth in it?
Not yet.
This is to go even further beyond.
This is.
I just watch in horror.
A thin whistling sound that is not very much like a voice comes from the mouth.
Lauren is going to hold the sword right at the eye socket in case it tries to do something, and we'll drive it home if it does.
Okay.
Is the eye socket still there where it was?
The eye socket is still there, yes.
Okay. No more nose.
No more nose in the slightest, no. It does look like a bunch of tiny little ears are kind of growing along the eye stalk, or sorry, the mouth stalk. Probably so that it can have a conversation and not just talk at you. The speed at which it is
perfect sense.
The speed at which it is doing this is a bit faster than it was before. It says, "Welcome, guests. I apologize that I am not in a position to better serve you. For what reason have you come? Do you come from the front porch?
That is what we used to call the interface between outside of the fortress and all the parts that matter.
We come looking for a man who called himself Old Sam. I believe he has been through here. He may have been the one to gouge out your eye. I am not certain on this.
That is what I assumed. He and that other one, that woman that he had with him, they were carrying with them a living soul.
Aha.
They seemed to think for some reason I was a vampire lord, and so they waited for me to fall asleep. After I served them, as is my job and purview as a servant of my long-departed master. And they trapped me here and took my eye and ran away. I apologize, I cannot get a better picture of you. How many of you are there?
Now the teeth are starting to grow.
Ew.
Just the molars, though.
There were 5 of us, now there are 4, so there will be 5 again shortly.
I see. You went through the security door then.
What happened to your other eye?
Oh, it is still in here somewhere. I don't really know where it is.
If I may ask, if you are not a vampire lord, but you possess such impressive abilities, what are you?
I cannot say that I know. My long-departed master made me. I do not know what he made me from.
Is your long-departed master a vampire lord?
I assume so. I do not know exactly what a vampire lord is, but it seemed that the ones who took my eye made certain precautions that perhaps would have troubled my master. They used silver weapons, for instance.
If pardon me if this is disrespectful, but if you do not know what you are and you are not sure what a vampire lord is, how are you sure that you are not a vampire lord?
I suppose that is a fair question. Well, my master could turn himself into a spider, or into a bat, or a snake. I cannot do that. And my master could make other servants and turn people into skeletons by eating all of their organs and skin. I cannot do that.
Have you tried?
I have never had occasion to do so. I deal with guests, and that is, well, not a way you treat a guest.
Can you tell us anything about the gargoyle in the armor?
No, I'm afraid not. The gargoyles and I
Do you
never
know
have had
about it?
anything. Well, no. They are not anything that I deal with.
Are they living?
They move if you animate them. I think you could say that about many things, though. A wind-up toy moves if you animate it. I don't think many people would call it alive.
Wind-up toys are canon.
They are.
The one in the armor. Have you seen it move?
I have not known them to have armor. Why would you armor a gargoyle? They're already made of
I was
stone.
hoping you knew.
I wonder if that was the work of the other two. If so, it did not happen when I saw it.
Is there a way for you to be removed from the stone?
I suppose in any way that you might otherwise break stone. To my knowledge, it isn't magical or anything. All I know is I am not strong enough to break it. Although I didn't try very hard, I suppose. I had not much more reason to get out of bed once the others were gone. Although, I suppose my bones won't be able to fit through this opening very well, so it is likely not much use in trying. Vesper, what are your thoughts on this?
I'm not entirely sure.
Forgive me, what did he say happened to his master?
He didn't.
Where is your master now?
I am afraid I'm not at liberty to share that.
Why?
I was entrusted with a secret. I'm not going to share it.
The secret being where he's gone?
Yes.
Can you tell us where he didn't go?
What? What do you want?
The ears start to retract. As I guess does the mouth.
Does the nose come back?
No. It retracts to the point there is a sort of mouth sticking directly from the surface of the forehead with a few ears ringing it, but it is not the same veritable appendage it was a minute ago.
Well, we can either try to get him out, just leave him there, or kill him. Frankly, I'm fine with any of those.
Well, I don't see any reason to kill him. He's not been hostile towards us.
Wendelorn, you've been on point today. What do you think?
I don't think it poses any real threat. It seems to be pretty well trapped.
Should we try to release it?
I don't know. Is there, someplace else to be here, or is this everything there is to see here?
In this room, on this floor, is that in character, out of character?
Well, I don't think there are any doors to go through.
You have seen no additional doors to go through.
So aside from the chimney exit, we've hit a dead end. I want to fully investigate the room and make sure there's no other possible exit.
Are you looking for, secret doors? And if you are doing so, how are you going about that?
It's just, poking around. Just to see if there's anything that we missed.
Brushing aside skeleton piles?
Yes.
Alright. You look underneath the bed, and there are a few skeletons down there that still have some skin on them.
Ew.
That's about it.
What's the bed made of?
The bed's made of stone.
Okay, so I was gonna say that's some pretty impressive craftsmanship if you can hold up a giant ass stone.
You find nothing else.
Well,
it won't tell us where the vampire went, and we came for an eye, so I suppose its eye will have to do.
well, the other people seem to think there was some value in his eye, and he's got another one in there somewhere.
Please don't.
You'll be fine.
I want it.
You're not using it.
No, but I won't ever be able to use it if you take it.
You won't ever be able to use it anyway. You're trapped in stone.
Well, I might. I could potentially. One
I'll
day.
tell you what. If you get out of there, there's a body at the bottom of the stairs. Go take his eyes. He's not using them.
Oh.
I veto this suggestion.
If we bring you an eye, will you tell us where your master went?
No. I would die before I gave his secret.
He pauses.
I would endure much pain before I gave my master's secret.
Well, I mean,
We could put that to the test.
this could be arranged.
He begins to grow little knobby bits of bone around the ears and the mouth. He seems to not be able to do anything with the eye socket, though.
That seems like a pretty easy path to the other eye socket.
Can everyone give me perception rolls, please?
Oh, good.
Oh, good. It's just all flips all the way down.
Why is Wendell the only one of us rolling well?
It's okay, I didn't roll well either.
What did you get?
I have the sword light on it, so I can see better.
That makes a lot of sense. Wendelorn is carefully looking for any signs of shenanigans, and so he is the one who sees that through tiny, tiny cracks all over the surface of the welded together stone, very tiny fleshy tendrils, like not even a millimeter in diameter, are coming out here and there, slowly like growing to fill the cracks in the stone and reaching out little cilia like hair things. They're not necessarily doing anything at the moment active, but this guy is doing something. He is growing things.
I'm just imagining one of those Play-Doh toys where you put the Play-Doh in it and you squeeze it and like hair or a beard or something comes out.
Yes. Very much
Just
like
reminiscent of that.
Lovely.
Man, I wish I could perceive that. I would kill him right now.
He is like a living sausage grinder, but he is also the sausage.
Why is it always sausage?
Sausage is a versatile substance medium.
I mean,
it's a universally understood concept.
Yes.
Like a smile, that's universal.
I'm
going to point at these things and kind of take the tip of my sword and see if I can scrape them off.
You can indeed. You can shave the fleshy tendrils, and bits of blood immediately run down the surface of the stone.
As if this thing couldn't get more disgusting.
He lets out a screech as you shave his flesh. It's a very high whistle like that of a kettle, on account of he doesn't seem to have built for himself a working throat to connect to the mouth system, I suppose. He's kind of using the ears also, like as little speakers, I guess. I don't know. He's making do with what he has. You should admire him.
Well, seeing Wendell do that, I finally notice them, and I take my sword and scrape them off as well.
The rest of them retract.
Would you like us to tell us where your master's gone?
No, I wouldn't like that at all.
Would you tell us where your master's gone and dislike it?
I pull out a vial of acid and I just uncork it and I just hold it over his eye socket and I say, "Well, how about now?"
How about what?
Listen, well, I have a bit of very strong, powerful acid here, and it's currently hovering over your eye socket, and well, I'd be very willing to put it away right now if we knew the information we were looking for, but you see, my hand is growing very tired.
A noodle of flesh shoots out from the mouth and tries to spear you through the throat.
How do you know where to go?
That's a really good question. Does a 14 hit?
Nope.
It whizzes right by your throat. It forms barbs that hit nothing and then immediately retract.
I begin pouring acid.
Can I react in time to slash at it before it retracts?
No. However, everybody can roll initiative. Okay, let me make an excuse for a battlement here.
You know, Roll20 has an initiative thing.
Yeah, yes. Everybody should be able to click on... Hold on, where's the... There we go, Wendelorn and Eva are in it.
If you keep clicking, Worm, you're going to not go till next week.
Well, the first time I didn't have my token selected, and he wasn't using the thing anyway.
And he has initiative 8. Alright, so...
Vesper needs...
Yes, Vesper, what's yours?
11.
Do you have any bonus to your initiative on your sheet?
No, that's my initiative roll.
And I can't get the turn order options to come up again, unless they're already up and I minimize them.
I don't know, I see the window's gone now. Now it's back.
Yeah, the options will... they were a grayed out window all the way on the other side of the screen. I don't know how to use this site. So I assume
you have a plus 40 initiative. Did you add it?
Hold on, what did I... So I assume...
You had the plus 4?
Vesper's fallen asleep.
I just couldn't hear that clearly.
Did you roll a straight 11, or is that after you added the 4 to it?
That's what the roll is. I use
so your initiative would
bonus to it.
And Worm, your initiative is not showing up on the turn order at all.
I see it there.
Oh, you showed up twice.
Yes, I did. I don't know why I'm at the top with the 0.
And it looks like it only took the second roll you made, not the first one.
And Ivor has a higher dexterity than Vesper. So...
And no, Vesper should have a 15.
Oh, gotcha.
But does it not just add it to the initiative in the...
You're not in Roll20, are you?
I'm not online in Roll20, but I can still roll things. They're just not showing up.
Gotcha. That's weird.
Well,
yeah, that's why I've been reading out my rolls there, because it's
so when you roll it, does it say
online.
11 and then Does it say 11 and then initiative 4 below it?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Never mind then.
It is Wendelorn's turn. The
So-
ball of fun is on the bed. You
Can we
are.
call it ball of fun?
So is there now acid in the eye socket?
There is now acid pouring onto the eye socket. Yes. And is there a damage associated with that acid in the PHB or the DMG, Mr. Ivor?
Acid damage. Just acid damage.
Okay, there isn't like this vial does 1d4 acid damage
Oh,
thing.
sorry, damage count, not yes.
Yeah,
okay.
sorry.
It is 2d6 acid damage for the vial.
Okay, can you roll
That's
that
for
for
the
me, please?
entire vial.
All right. Sizzle, sizzle, burp.
Expend that vial.
Do you glass him after you pour it?
Sure.
All right. Can you make me an attack roll for a? Oh, the word is completely escaping me. A thing that is not an actual weapon that you just grabbed.
Improvised.
Yes, improvised.
So that'd be a 1d4, right? Could I use the dagger stats for that then, just to make it an easy roll?
Yes.
Taylor, I remind you that you're a writer.
Yeah, I'm not a talker. I use different parts of my brain for both.
So that's an 11 to hit.
All
for
right.
4 piercing damage if it hits.
Yes. That's a good amount of damage right there. So yes, Wendelorn, the acid and the glass have happened.
Okay, well, I had been intending to stab it through the eye socket, but now that the eye socket's full of acid, I don't really want to wreck my sword.
How long does the acid stay acidy in there?
Mechanically,
become-
it has... If the damage it will do has already been expressed mechanically.
Okay, so like you like it's not an eye socket of acid now,
Well, it's dribbling all over the place.
but like if you stuck something
It's-
in there, would it eat it?
Better safe
As
than
well.
sorry.
Well, I hope it doesn't damage the
Like,
other eye.
a sword is good craftsmanship. Like, you're not going to ruin it by acid. I mean, you don't want to ruin it by acidying it, even if it isn't going to melt away because you stabbed somebody in the eye with it.
I guess I will just stab it in the mouth where the thing came out and tried to attack him.
All right. The ball of fun is effectively prone. You are going to auto hit it, I think. Or is it advantage to hit? I truly cannot remember. I'm
I
ashamed.
think it's, but I don't know anything.
What is the question? Sorry.
The ball of fun is prone. Is that auto hit or advantage to hit in melee?
Advantage in melee.
Okay. Nice. So that is a crit. That is beautiful. So you are going to deal double the damage.
They should run around to the other side. We're also flanking.
Before... Yeah, and you're not going to have flanking when it's a big old ball of rock and there's one exposed thing on the very front of it.
Oh, fine.
So, you're going to deal double the base... I can't remember what we're doing for crit. Double the base damage, add your modifiers twice, I think is what we're doing. I'm counting it as 14 for this. Regardless, we'll figure it out later. It's still good damage. Are you doing anything else, Wendelorn?
I may just kind of twist the thing back and, the sword back and forth in the wound, but other than that, no.
Lovely. Ivor, your turn.
And so to confirm, this is sorry. I think Discord's acting up for me. This thing is the bed here.
That is the bed, yes.
So I guess I should put Ivor there then.
Yeah, it's good placement.
Okay, just trying to remember where everyone was on the real map now.
Right.
I was pouring things into it. I was probably right up on it.
Right.
Is there anything in the room to hide behind, or is the bed really the only large piece of furniture?
There are piles of skeletons you could dive into or hide behind. 1 second. And that's the door there.
Okay.
And those are the piles of skeletons.
Then on my turn, I will disengage as a bonus action and run over here. And as I do so, that will trigger bolts from the grave.
Yes.
There it is. That rip.
Unfortunate.
Okay. Then instead, and so is Wendelorn in melee with it then?
He is in melee with it.
Okay, just double checking that. I will instead throw a dagger at it.
Alright.
Because I should still be within 20 feet. Yes.
If it's prone, do you have disadvantage on that?
If it's considered prone, I would have disadvantage. Yes.
Okay.
That is a good point.
Although that mechanically doesn't make any sense here, I suppose.
It's either way. It's fine. All
Nice.
7. Wow.
That's
Lines up
amazing.
real nice with the
Roll.
7 above and the 7 above that, too. Well, you don't hit.
I don't do anything, but it's still an amazing turn just
You-
because of that.
You still hit a jackpot.
You get
Yes.
something for that.
Spectral. You trigger a haunting, and spectral coins rain from the heavens. They disappear as they hit the ground.
I think that is
You
my
should
day.
get a
my
point of
day.
inspiration for that.
I already have a point of inspiration, but thank you.
No.
I'll use the remainder of my movement just to try and break line of sight with it back here. Not actually hide, but
Right.
yeah.
Okay.
I'll remove 1 dagger from my inventory. That is Evor's turn.
Vesper.
Vesper.
Whisper.
So I can't see anything.
Okay. Well, that's okay
Uh.
because the map is more or less useless.
Okay, I wasn't sure just how important.
There's a bed. There's a rock on it. There's some piles of skeletons around. There's a door.
Oh, of course, there's a rock on it. Why wouldn't there be?
There's a rock on the bed on the floor. Amidst
There's
a
a
pile of
face on the
skeletons.
rock on the bed on the floor.
Very good.
There's a mouth on the face on the. There's a tongue.
There's
in
a
the mouth.
sword in the. There's a sword in the mouth. Yeah, etc.
I'm not sure how much good I will be here. You seem to have under control. So
You have a holy hand grenade you could stick in its ear hole or something.
I can. Let me see what kind of things I have here.
What if you rolled it out of the bed and down the chimney?
Isn't it awfully large for that?
It is, yes. It was a thought, though.
We would need Slash for that.
I have a lot of oil. I could put some oil on and burn. I guess.
You could indeed.
Well, you could pour oil on and kind of neutralize the acid.
True, but would we want to do that? I mean,
Well, I'm trying to preserve the other eye that's in there. I don't want it to eat all the way through.
okay. So you
but-
want to neutralize it before it reaches the eye?
Right, I'm not sure how much damage it's going to do in there.
All right, yeah. So you take some oil and put it in the acid, and also maybe light
Alright.
it on fire.
Don't light it on fire. That's the opposite of what I'm trying to do. Light
I'll
it on
put some
fire
oil
after
in
we...
another place and light it on fire.
Okay,
No fires, please.
the oil doesn't seem to interact with the acid, but it certainly does lubricate the face. It's shiny now. It shines.
Amazing.
There's a spluttering sound coming from the ears. It gleams in the light of Wendelorn's sword, which is repeatedly stabbing it.
The Vesper just came over and poured oil on this guy here and just...
Well, you saw him pour acid on it, and you're like, I want part of this. I too have a pourable thing.
Very good.
I guess we're pouring things now.
Do you do anything else, Vesper?
I'm just gonna look a bit disappointed.
The oil drips onto the floor in pools. Face Thing's turn. It's still screaming through its mouth and ears. Those are rapidly forming into smooth flesh, and the screaming is now internal. You can still hear it coming from under the skin, though. Quite a lot of limbs, very thin limbs, start to sprout from the cracks of the rock. They have tiny little single thumbs and toes on the ends of them. He do
What?
indeed, Stephanie. Veiny, bulging muscles begin to kind of swell as soon as there is room outside of the stone. And the whole thing is going to grip onto the stone bed and try to hurl itself over the edge of the bed and smash.
Oh,
And one moment. And is going to try to smash Vesper and Wendelorn. I need Vesper and Wendelorn to make dexterity saving throws, please.
This entire episode is like a game of Taylor Bingo, by the way.
Wendelorn succeeds.
Dexterity?
Yes, dexterity.
We've got tendrils, we've got weird appendages, we've got fingers and toes where they don't belong.
And a staircase drawn in the shape of a flaccid
Do we
penis.
have a success?
I will have you know that digits belong on the ends of limbs. And you cannot convince me
No.
otherwise.
These are tendrils. You've
Well,
also got bulging muscles and references to sausage.
The only thing the limbs are missing are bones at this point. I'm sorry, Chris, I didn't hear what your roll was.
It's fine, I didn't even say anything. It's 1810.
Okay, so you both succeed. And it rolls with a brilliant alacrity. It does not trigger attacks of opportunity. And it smashes through the doorway and goes into the outside room, which had the gargoyle in it.
The stone is still intact.
The stone does appear to be intact, yes.
Did he
Do I still
stop?
have my sword?
You still have your sword. It ripped free of the flesh. It's Worm's turn.
Has he stopped moving? Rolling?
Yes.
Has he landed face up?
Well, it landed upright-ish and is now waddling around on the other side of the doorway to face you. Although there
how
are
many limbs is he standing on?
it's hard to tell, 8 or 9 probably.
Alright, I'm gonna run up to him and take a slash at whichever one seems most structurally important.
All right, attack roll, please. Very nice.
Damn.
I'm considering that 36 damage.
How?
It's a crit, and I'm too lazy to remember what we're doing with crits, so you just did flat out double damage.
Neat.
I think that's what we are doing with crits.
Okay.
Perfect.
You lop off all the limbs on one side, and
Jeez.
it smashes to the ground in a pool of ichor. The limbs go skirtling? Yes.
I somehow understood that perfectly.
The limbs go skirtling towards you. They try to all entangle one of your legs. Can you make me a...
skirt?
What'd you say?
They're going to all entangle one of your legs, or they're going to try to. Can you make me a strength saving throw?
Yeah, I said the limbs all go skirt skirt.
They do indeed.
Hopefully they've not developed little mouths of their own.
On the outside they skirt, but on the inside they hurt.
Can we save that quote somewhere? That needs to be saved.
I think it's attributed to Yoda. Makes sense to me.
The campaign needs an out of context quotes handout. It's this one.
Indeed. So you fail the strength save. Worm, you are dragged down to the ground as all the limbs try to, I don't know, they probably try to get in between your vertebrae and prevent you from being able to move. You are prone, and you will have to forfeit either your action or movement next turn.
Okay.
You will still have your bonus action. And Gwendolyn, your turn. The thing is outside the door.
Can I see it?
You can see it.
Well, I am going to cast... let's see, what am I going to cast at this stupid thing? I guess we will go with Scorching Ray.
Nice.
My laptop just decided to restart. Did I miss anything?
It depends on where you left off.
Yeah, that's a huge question.
Internet.
Did you catch it leaping out of the bed? Yeah, because you rolled to dodge it.
Yeah, I was gone for just like a minute.
Okay, well, I lopped off half of its legs.
So that's the 3 attacks there.
Yes, your third one hits. Your other 2 bounce off the stone. And you whackoom it for 9 fire damage. Do you do anything else?
No, I think that's it. I don't want to get in anybody else's way.
Alright. Ivor.
Well, I'm going to attempt to hide behind this pile of bones as a bonus action.
Alright. It is completely out of your line of sight, as it is on the other side of the door. So you are pretty sure you're completely hidden.
Okay. Do I still need to roll stealth?
Oh, why don't you roll stealth? Maybe you stepped on something and made a little noise. You feel completely hidden.
Alright, cool. So it's on the other side of the door now, you said?
It is, there? Yes.
Alright, so then I will bloop, and
dun, dun, dun.
trigger Bolts from the Grave. This will be... So is it no longer prone?
It is no longer prone.
Okay, so this is at advantage then.
Alright.
Oops. There we go.
Well, your 10, 10, 10 add up to 30. Beautiful.
My luck today.
Unfortunately, you don't hit.
Yeah, but what are the odds, though? Okay, is there anybody in melee with it?
Yes. Are you in melee if you are prone? Because Mr. Worm is in melee range.
I think
this isn't.
So let me double check that.
Yeah.
I'll do some quick.
This is another thing that happens again in War Machine all the time and has completely different roles. I feel like you are in melee still, even though that doesn't make a ton of sense.
Yeah, I think so.
All right, we're considering it. They're in melee.
Okay.
You have an enemy within 5 feet of your enemy. Sorry, ally.
That is one of the trickier parts of sneak attack, is what counts as a valid ally. So, okay. I will yeet a dagger then.
Alright. You don't hit. I'm sorry.
Or Ivor today, man.
He wasted all of his amazing skills on the stone lizards.
Yes, apparently. This is karma for the stone lizards.
They will have their revenge.
I guess I use 20 feet of movement to get there, so I'll just use 10 feet to break line of sight again, and that's my turn.
Alright. Vesper.
Vesper's still disappointed.
It's understandable.
So, how far off did this guy go?
We're gonna say, for simplicity's sake, about 5 feet past the door, which means he went about. Yeah, sorry, you can't see it. He went about 30 feet from you.
Okay.
You can make it this turn if you walk. You can also, see him if you wanted to zap him.
I could run up and try to stab him.
You could.
I may very well.
Will you?
That's a lot of information. I'm just gonna. Ugh.
Can you help poor Worm who is being assaulted by fleshy tendrils?
Actually, yeah, that would probably be the higher priority.
Not that I necessarily know what you're going to do to help him, but yeah.
I could try and burn them.
You could.
Don't set fire to me.
They're currently trying to burrow into his spine, so I guess you know better than I how you would do that.
I could just, if it would come in contact with them at all, just lightly brushed with flames.
Alright, how are you doing this?
Scorching.
Are you using a spell, or are you going to dump oil
Yeah,
and set it on fire? Okay.
I have whatever it was that I was using.
Is that Scorching Ray?
Firebolt.
Okay, can you give me an Arcana roll real quick, please?
I can. Ooh, it's nice. 22, 21. I have no idea which one actually matters.
Okay, so you're pretty sure that if you do this, Worm is going to get cut on fire also?
Ah.
Not 100% sure, but, pretty sure. That tends to be what happens when you set things on fire that are on things that are on fire. You have performed scientific experiments in this regard.
Well, I could just go ahead and just try and cut them, I guess. Do the entirely not fun way.
Yes.
Okay, stabby stabby.
Appreciate the not fun way, thank you.
Alright.
And I'm just copying it because it's easier.
Alright. That's a 14. That'll hit. So you stabby quite a lot of the tendrils. You hold them and stretch them out like rubber bands, and you stab them. They're like elongated ticks, kind of. They hold on with their tiny little rings of, not really teeth, fingernails probably. But they let go after you sever them.
This sounds more like a leech, but okay.
There we go. It is more leech-like.
Leeches are just long ticks.
Mm-hmm.
Basically.
I'm imagining leeches with legs now.
Please don't.
It is the face thing's turn. It is surprisingly not going to roll at you. It is going to roll away. And you will not have an attack of opportunity because you were prone, Mr. Worm. But you will have an attack of opportunity, Miss Vesper.
How is it rolling?
You severed its legs. It's now mostly rock.
But what's it using to propel itself?
Magic, probably.
Oh.
It has like a little oar-shaped tendril that it's using to push against the ground.
Did he, tuck up the rest of his legs?
More or less.
Gross.
The bleeding stopped, by the way. Vesper, would you like to make a weapon attack of opportunity.
Yeah, why not? So I just roll another attack on it?
Yes, please. Alright, your 9 will not hit. So it rolls into the next room, and you hear a smash as it sounds like it comes into contact with the suit of armor and a statue.
Very good.
Worm, your turn. You are no longer being assailed. You no longer have the effect of needing to forfeit action or movement. I mean, you still have to stand up with all of that entails, though, if you feel like it.
I would like to stand up. So, I'm back in the other room, but how far am I from where he hit the armor?
So if you walk into the other room, you are about 15 feet away. You have about 10 feet of movement remaining.
Can I see his face?
Well, you can see the face stretching out from the rock and wrapping itself around the gargoyle.
I'd like to slash the hell out of that. That's disgusting.
Well, you'll have a good 5 feet of clearance between the two of yous. If you have a range attack, you can do it.
No, I want to run up and slash at him.
So it was...
The running was implied.
Oh, gotcha. I'm trying to remember how basic addition works. Sorry.
Use your fingers if you have to.
You are... Took you 5 feet to get out. It was 15 feet away. You got 10 feet of movement. You can slash it, yeah.
Okay.
That's how numbers work. So you don't crit it, you hit it. You hit it good. If you get a gold thwack, it's like smacking a really thick rubber band.
Oh.
It trembles.
So I don't cut into it at all?
You don't, actually. You leave a big
24.
old... You leave a big old bruise, though, that very quickly runs down the... I guess it's a throat, sort of.
So he's not considered prone anymore?
He is not, no. On account of most of his mass is no longer inside the rock. And is instead, kind of curling around the gargoyle.
I didn't know with him having just rolled and crashed if that counted as being prone.
It does not.
Okay.
On the bright side, none of the fleshy tendrils are sticking out from the sides anymore. The legs have vanished. Do you do anything else, Worm?
I do not.
Wendalorn, your turn.
Okay, so how far do I have to move to be able to see this thing?
I think you're going to have to move 20 feet to get outside the room. And then you'll be able to see it. It's going to be about 15 feet away from you.
I'm going to move the 20 feet and then cast Guiding Bolt on it.
All right. You miss.
And then I'm just going to use the rest of my movement to get out of the doorway in case somebody else wants to come through. I'll go another 10 feet into the room.
All right. Ivor.
Okay. Stealthy.
Oh, yeah.
Oof.
You accidentally walk through a bunch of skeletons and send them everywhere.
Oops. Regardless, that'll trigger my bolts from the grave when I get over here. It just won't be an advantage. Oof.
That will not hit.
Eldritch Blast.
Yules.
There
That
we go.
will hit.
And then skedaddle.
You punch an eldritch hole in its eldritch flesh.
Perfect.
Vesper, your turn.
Woo.
What would you like to murder? You are still just inside the room that it rolled out of. If you poke your head out, you will see it wrapping its flesh all around this here gargoyle with a suit of armor on.
Is it still within my movement?
It is, yes. It's about 20 feet away from you.
Alright, well then, I suppose now's gonna be the time that I can run up to and stab at it.
Alright.
Stabby.
That will hit. You deal 8 piercing.
I'm so effective.
You nearly sever the faucet of flesh. You give it a good ol' sawing back and forth, and like saltwater taffy separating under the hot rays of the sun, it kind of plorps and tears apart. It's still going, but that was pretty brutal. Anything else?
Not moment.
With that ing sound, the last of the flesh departs and is kind of swimming all over the gargoyle. There's a sound of cracking stone as the gargoyle's limbs begin to animate under the flesh. And one burning yellow eye appears in one of the gargoyle's eye sockets. The now animated gargoyle lurches toward you and starts swinging its halberd back and forth, trying to get a good old smack on those of you who happen to be like within 5 feet, which I think is Worm and Vesper.
Glorious.
Does a 17 hit Worm?
A 17 hit Worm.
Alright, and a 23 hits you, Vesper.
Very much so.
That's 10 slashing damage to Worm. That's 16 slashing damage to Vesper, because that was a max roll, and I'm sorry for that.
Oof.
Then it's going to open its mouth and try to shoot a barbed tendril at you, Mr. Worm. Does a 13 hit?
No.
I'm sorry, I meant Wendelorn. I doubt it hits Wendelorn either.
Wormdorn.
Yes, a 13 does hit.
Okay.
Wormdorn.
Worm.
That's 6 piercing damage. Can you give me a strength saving throw, please? You brace yourself against the barbs as they try to yank you prone, and they simply rip out of your flesh. Worm, it is your turn. Or Worm, I should say. Perfection.
So, is the stone part of him now inert?
There's just a big old rock sitting there now, yes.
There's nothing that appears like any part of him in there anymore, including the face?
Would you like to look into it? Like, the face part was pointed away from you, as it was...
Well, I don't want to use an action to do that.
If you use your
I mean, we can
movement,
look
you
at
can
it
walk
later.
around it, but then it'll have an attack of opportunity against you unless you disengage. It's only like 5-10 feet of circling away if you were trying to do that.
No, I don't want to provoke an attack of opportunity. So I shoot him.
If you're in melee, that is at disadvantage, I think.
Is it if it's magic? I don't have like a melee weapon
If-
or a shooty weapon.
If it's not a melee attack and you're in melee range with any enemy, all of your non-melee attacks are at disadvantage.
Unless you have a feat.
Right. Which now there are several.
So like guiding bolt would be a disadvantage?
Correct.
Yes.
That would be hilarious, though. You blast a thing in the face at disadvantage to give someone else advantage on it.
Yeah,
I don't recommend it. Oh, okay.
Why don't you recommend it?
Because it's at disadvantage.
Yeah, that's fine.
You got this.
Do I got this?
No, because you don't hit. It
You said I
whizzes.
got this.
Well, you got the stone wall, which is easily, confused with skin stretched taut over a broken gargoyle skeleton.
Okay, well,
Anything else?
okay, I want to run to a point in the room far away from it.
Alright, that will be attack of opportunity.
Yeah.
So it is going to... It's going to try to smash you with its halberd.
Perfect.
Does a 24 hit.
Oh my god.
That's 8 slashing damage.
Okay. I'm still up at least.
Alright. Wendellorn.
So it's now inside the armor?
Yes.
I got the impression that it kind of possessed the gargoyle.
More or less. It's kind of awkward, though. Its movements aren't perfect. It's maybe not getting the best use of the armor that it could.
Its halberd use is on point.
I guess I'm going to try and guiding bolt it again.
Alright. You hit. An explosion of light bursts against it. The next attack against it has advantage. In fact, you blow one of its arms off.
And that's going to be it for my turn.
Alright. Its halberd sags down, not being supported by both of its limbs. Ivor, your turn.
How far from the door is it?
It's 10 feet from the door, probably, by this point.
Okay. I'll poke my head out the door and see that it's glowing, and I will Eldritch Blast.
Nice.
This one will be at advantage. I'll eat that up.
Yeah, and that will hit.
Sweet. Then I will attempt to sneak behind the door again, or maybe the other door. I've been hiding against that door the whole time. I'm going to be sneakier on this side. He'll never
He's
see
expecting you to hide behind that door. His dead eye is turned toward you, so you're superbly sneaky.
All right. And then bolts from the grave.
Pew pew.
And am I hidden enough for advantage?
Yes.
Whoop.
Nice.
So that is 12 total then, right?
All right. Yeah.
Since we just double the original damage.
Right. You blast the side of its head, and flesh and gargoyle go flying. It has about half its head left.
All right, and then I'll use my remaining 5 feet of movement to block, and that's my turn.
All right.
I'm just diving back and forth across this doorway, blasting my finger guns every time. It's great.
Fantastic. Vesper, it is your turn.
Ah. Well, I'm almost dead, so that's fun.
But you could be deader.
I could be.
Ask Slash.
He's too busy being dead. But he would agree even though he's dead.
Do you have a ranged weapon?
I do, yes,
Daggers.
and I have a few ranged spells.
Yeah, just, don't get close to it. You'll be fine.
True.
Maybe move further away from it. Maybe duck behind a doorway.
That's actually not a bad idea. I may go find some form of cover.
And there are pieces of stone furniture in here.
There are. You will need to disengage if you do that, though. Unless you'd want to eat a hit, which is entirely doable.
Don't get a hit.
Well,
You said you're almost dead. I think it would be worth using the...
but... Yeah, I think I'll go and get some cover first before I try doing any damage to it.
Are you not going to disengage, or are you going to disengage?
No, please disengage.
Now, at this very moment, the arm that it is slashing and stabbing with doesn't look like in the greatest shape. So you might survive.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I may.
It also might
well.
Something else.
So I think I'm gonna take into. Yeah, I'll just go ahead and try to burn it.
All right.
Are you also running away, or just burning it from where you're standing?
I'll just burn it where I'm at.
All right. So that will be a disadvantage. Let's get a fat firebolt here.
Boom.
That will not hit.
Of course.
Anything else?
Can I still try running?
Yes, you can. It'll just have an attack against you.
Okay.
There is a nice looking table right there. You could jump behind. Would you like to jump behind it?
Yes, I would like to jump behind the nice table.
All right. It's going to take a slash at you.
Of course.
Does a 14 hit? It had disadvantage.
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Just hits.
You get blammed for 13 slashing damage.
F.
It was an awkward swing that was intended to do something different, but you ended up headbutting the flat of the halberd.
Oh, very good.
Are you down?
I am.
Okay. It is Face Thing's turn. Its other arm falls off after this. Little gooey bits of flesh tearing from the shoulder. And its chest is going to burst open. It's going to fire all of its teeth at you, Worm. Does a 15 hit?
Yes.
That's
Jeez.
20. I thought it's a 23. Thankfully, it didn't. That's 13 piercing damage.
Doesn't matter.
And then it
Crap.
collapses to the ground in a caved-in pile of metal and stone and flesh. We are out of initiative.
Woo!
Kill itself killing me?
More or less, I guess.
I'm that much of a badass.
If you look into the rock, you can see a humanoid skeleton just kind of curled up in there. Along with 2 kidneys. That might have been poor judgment on its part. So we are going to stop here and reconvene next week.
Is
So,
the face still there?
I mean, there is a skull inside the rock.
So, like, the skin that was covering the face isn't there?
No, the skin is somewhere over the gargoyle, I suppose.
Okay.
There is one
Well, that was...
clearly biological
the
eye in
eye?
the socket. The eye has grown tiny little legs and is trying to walk away.
My God.
You can very easily scoop it up, like, an overweight gerbil. That's the speed that it's going at.
Gonna have nightmares.
Then I've done my job. They need to hire me to make the next Animal Crossing. There's going to be some interesting things to collect. Some interesting villagers is what there's going to be. So...
It's been a while since you've unleashed a really unholy terror, and you've just been saving all that energy up, haven't you?
More or less.
God.
Yeah, thank you guys for playing. And
Thank you for tailoring.
Thank you very much.
You are welcome.
Yeah, thanks, Taylor. So see you guys next week.
See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.